It's not even July yet. If you are visiting with us for the first time today, I want to introduce you to the way things go around here. It's not always what you expect. Easter's only a few weeks away, and I say that so you do not think that I am confused. So, the book of Luke and the book of Matthew are typical references to the Christmas story. You look at the very first chapters of both of those books, that's typically the passages we use for a Christmas story, and of which the most popular is the first two chapters of the book of Luke. This is the text I would like to speak out of today. Now, this is not a Christmas message. I just want to throw that out there. This is not a Christmas message. Like, have you seen your screen? No, it's not a Christmas message. The title, everything seems to point to the fact that I've completely lost my mind. But if you know me, you understand this is just normal. So Easter is coming. It's right around the corner. St. Patrick's Day is in a couple days. So let's talk Christmas. It's only a logical thing to do at this point. In the beginning of the book of Luke, God starts pouring out blessings on people like it's going out of style. Everybody's getting gifts. After all, 'tis the season. He's pouring gifts out on everybody here. This Christmas text is typically only used around Christmas time. But it's a shame that people don't visit it more often. There's so much depth in the Christmas story. I want to use the Christmas story to show us how to properly look at the events in our lives. It's not a Christmas message. I'm not going to try to say that a bunch of times because everything seems to be that I'm talking on Christmas this morning. But it's not a Christmas message. I'm not trying to promote a Christmas feel. After all, like you said, it's not even July. That's the first time you can do Christmas in a year, right? Isn't that Christmas in July? Isn't that the first opportunity we have, which isn't a big celebration? Then December's that's the one. It's March. It's March 15th, right? Close to Christmas, and we're getting close. 285 more days to Christmas. So it's time to get one of these messages out of the way. That's right. So the shelves look like we've experienced Black Friday. Now let's talk about Christmas. It's the season. So I don't really want to create a Christmas feeling message this morning, but by using this passage, there's no way to get around that Christmas theme. You look at the first two chapters of Luke, hey, wait, isn't that the Christmas story? Yes, it is the Christmas story. It's been 400 years between the pages of the Old Testament and the pages of the New Testament when we open up our text this morning. It has been 400 years. We often refer to this as the 400 silent years because God didn't speak to mankind through angels or prophets. God has been completely silent for 400 years. So between the two testaments, we call that the 400 silent years. God has not spoken. He's been silent. But all of the days that seem normal to these people in this passage, this one was going to change everything. All of that's going to change with a man named Zacharias. God has been quiet. He hasn't spoken through a prophet. He hasn't spoken by angels. But God's about to shake things up in Luke chapter 1. So look with me at Luke chapter 1 and verse 5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judah, a certain priest named Zacharias of the division of Abijah. His wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. And they had no child because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well advanced in years. Zacharias is a priest, and he is married to this woman named Elizabeth who is unable to have children. It says that both of these people were righteous before God, blameless. They're walking in the commandments of God. These are two very good people. They're just living their lives in love with the Lord. That's the picture we get of Zacharias and his wife here. They are just in love with God, and they are living their life in love with the Lord. They only had one problem. They're unable to have children. And it tells us that there's two reasons why they weren't able to have children. The first one was Elizabeth was barren. Well, that's a doozy. That should clinch the deal right there. You're not able to have children because she's barren. But God gives us two answers here. It says Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well advanced in years. Not only is Elizabeth infertile, these people are old. These are two reasons why they're not able to have kids. And they're pretty good reasons. She's barren, they're old. They're both well advanced in years. Well, one day as Zacharias is doing his job in the temple, he's just doing what he normally does, an angel appears to him. Remember, it's been 400 years since something like this has happened. God hasn't spoken by angel or prophet. He's been silent. This is freaky stuff. An angel appears. Remember, that's not in the lifetime of anybody that exists at that time. If 400 years, nobody's that old. They've all died off. Nobody's ever seen this in their lifetime. Zacharias gets a little bit afraid when this happens. Look at verse 12. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zacharias, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John." I'm sure that Zacharias and Elizabeth have been praying for children since they were first married. It's just never been possible. They weren't able to have kids. Now that they're both super old, now that they're well advanced in years, an angel appears and says, "You know that prayer for children that you and your wife prayed? You remember that prayer? Yeah? Well, we're going to hook you up. Grandpa, come here. We're going to hook you up." Isn't it? It's a beautiful story. Not only did the angel tell him that he was going to be a father, he told him what his son's name was going to be. You're going to name your son John. You're going to be a daddy. What? You're going to be a daddy. And you're going to get to name your son John. After 400 years, God speaks up. He finally speaks up, and his first message is, get ready. Get ready. What's going to happen? You're going to be a daddy. No way. No way. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus Christ. This was Zacharias' son, was John the Baptist. John the Baptist is forerunner of Jesus Christ. This baby was set up for the introduction of Jesus Christ, God in the flesh. John the Baptist is going to be the one that announces Jesus Christ. It's been prophesied. Your son's going to be John. He's going to be the voice in the desert crying, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord." That's your kid. You're going to have a son, and you're going to name him John. When John the Baptist was an adult, the Pharisees actually approached him, and they asked him who he is. Look at his answer in John chapter 1 and verse 23. He said, "I am the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as the prophet Isaiah said." John's message was repent and get ready because something big is about to break loose. That was John's message to the world. Get ready. Repent and get ready because it's all coming in. It's all coming in. I am just the one that's going to cry out. I'm the one yelling all the time. Prepare the way of the Lord. He's coming. It's all about to break loose. That's who John is. John's life was to set up the introduction of Jesus Christ. But here's a pretty reasonable question. Why did God wait so long to give them a son? Why did God wait so long? These people are now old enough to be their son's grandparents. They're well advanced in years. Why didn't God bless them with John 40 years ago when they would have been able to be more involved with his life? This doesn't really seem to be fair. Nevertheless, Elizabeth's pregnant now. It doesn't seem right, God. I mean, you could have brought John earlier. Why now? Why when they're old? They don't have much life left. Why didn't you give it to them 40 years ago? But that's what's happening here. And I want to answer that question, but not yet. Stay with me. Now when Elizabeth is 6 months pregnant with John, the angel Gabriel comes in, and he's sent to stir things up a little bit more. Look at verse 26 of Luke chapter 1. Luke 1:26. Now in the 6th month, The angel Gabriel was sent by God to a city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary, and having come in, the angel said to her, "Rejoice, highly favored one, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women." And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and considered what manner of greeting this was. Mary is a teenage girl at this time, and she's engaged to be married to a man named Joseph. It's been 400 years since anything like this has happened. And an angel pops up and starts talking with her. It says that she considered what manner of greeting this was. This isn't normal. Remember, nothing like this has happened in any of their lifetimes. This is different. An angel just shows up and starts talking to me. Gabriel then gives her the message that is going to flip her world upside down. Teenage girl, you're engaged. Well, congratulations on the engagement. I just have one thing to tell you. I'm just going to drop a little bit of news on you here. Congratulations on the new engagement. Good for you. Look at verse 30. Then the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bring forth a son, and he shall be called, and shall call his name Jesus." Congratulations, you're pregnant. Mary's just been given the message, hey, God's on the way. God's coming. He's on his way. How messed up is this story? I mean, just think about it. Hey, Grandpa, you're going to be a daddy. You what? You're going to be a daddy. Virgin Mary, hey, congratulations on the engagement. Just one little bit of news. Oh, you're pregnant. You're pregnant. This news should have erupted into cheering and celebration. But instead, it creates questions and concerns. Which, by the way, yes, it would. Yeah, I get it. I got a few questions here. Mary's engaged to be married. She has a wedding coming up. Dress has been picked out, got the unity candle all set up, got invitations sent out. We got a wedding coming up. This isn't exactly a good time to get pregnant. This isn't going to work. This is not a good time. She also has such a good reputation. As the angel just said, she's even found favor with God. Her reputation is spot on. You are a good girl. Your reputation is pure, Mary. She loves the Lord and does her best to follow his commands. That's who Mary is. This is a good girl. This news would not only disrupt her plans and ruin her reputation, it was also completely impossible. It's not possible. And Mary lets him know that's not possible. Look at verse 34. Then Mary said to the angel, "How can this be, since I do not know a man?" And the angel answered and said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the highest will overshadow you. Therefore, also, that Holy One who is to be born will be called the Son of God." Mary tries to explain this isn't possible. She's a virgin. I don't know how it works up there, but let me tell you how it works down here. That's not possible. It's not going to work. Oh, don't worry, it's going to work. Everything's going to be fine. How? It's just not possible. That good reputation that she has isn't only a rumor, it's reality. Have you remained pure? Yes. Yes. That's why it's not possible. I'm a virgin. So what you're saying can't be, it can't be. Like, oh, don't worry, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Then Gabriel tells her that God's working a great miracle in her life. Don't worry, Mary. This is big news. So God's going to do it in such a big way. God's working all of this. He's working all of it out through the lives of these people. He knows that it isn't just some day-to-day occurrence that he's doing. He understands how confusing this is going to be for them. God knows what he's doing. They're just a little confused. They have some questions, which every one of us would. But God knows what he's doing, and he also knows that it's not just a day-to-day, it's not just some everyday thing that I'm doing here. Gabriel knows that Mary's going to have a difficult time wrapping her mind around everything that she's just been told. He understands that. Anybody would. So he drops another bomb on her. Look at verse 36. Now indeed, Elizabeth, your relative, has also conceived a son in her old age. And this is now the 6th month for her who is called barren. For with God, nothing will be impossible. Hey, Mary, if you think this news is crazy, you should go see Elizabeth, your cousin. She's postmenopausal. And for the guys, she can't have kids anymore. She's way up there in age. She can't have kids. I can't have children, Gabriel. Why not? Because I'm a virgin. You think that's crazy? You should go check out Elizabeth's story. You know what she's thinking? No way. That's what she's thinking too. But she's 6 months along now, and you should go check out her story. You know your cousin who is barren and old and, oh yeah, pregnant? Go check out her story. Go see what God's doing over there. Because I want you to see that with God, nothing is impossible. Nothing's impossible. Now, this is part of the Christmas story that people don't always visit, but I want to zero in on what's going on here today. Mary knows that physically speaking, none of this can be true, and we all agree. It can't be true. It can't be true, physically speaking. But she also knows that anything God says cannot be false. So Mary gets up and she gets out. She's got places to go and people to see. Mary's moving. Look at verse 39. Now Mary arose in those days and went into the hill country with haste to a city of Judah, and entered the house of Zacharias and greeted Elizabeth. Mary's on the move. It says that she moves quickly, with haste. You should check out Elizabeth. What's happening with Elizabeth? She's 6 months pregnant. No way. Now, it says Mary gets up and she's out. I got to go see this. I need to go see this. It says that she moves with haste. The angel told her that her elderly cousin was 6 months pregnant. Death was supposed to be the next event in her life. Not having children. Yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah, I'm going to have to see this. And it says that Mary got up and she left. Yeah, I want to check that out. I want to see what's going on over there. Mary wants to see it because this story is also completely impossible, naturally speaking. Even that's impossible. When Mary shows up to Elizabeth's house, a series of undesirable situations suddenly climax into an overwhelming volume of confirming evidence. That's not possible. This is impossible, but that's not possible either. She gets to Elizabeth's house and everything, all the evidence is there. By the way, at 6 months pregnant, you don't have to tell people you're pregnant. Just stand up. Oh, I see. Yeah, the evidence is right there. Look at verse 41. And it happened when Elizabeth heard the greeting of Mary that the babe leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. Then she spoke out with a loud voice and said, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb." Mary approaches Elizabeth's house, and she announces that she's there. John the Baptist, who isn't even born yet, that's Elizabeth's son, still in the womb, John the Baptist starts jumping, declaring the same news that he is going to declare for the rest of his life. That's him. That's him. He's not even born. Elizabeth hears Mary, and John the Baptist is like, woohoo! That's him. That's the one. I'm supposed to announce him. That's him. All of this is happening in this story. That's the one who all of this is being set up to introduce. That's him. Then the Holy Spirit shows up on Elizabeth and backs up everything that baby's saying. Yeah, that's him. Elizabeth, that's him. That's him. Now I want to point out a detail that's found nowhere in this passage whatsoever. God never once asked any one of these people if this was going to be okay. Never once. He doesn't show up to Mary and say, okay, I got this plan, and I just want to see if you're okay with it. That's not how he does it. Not one of these people does he say, is this going to be all right with you? Zacharias, I know that you're not going to be on the scene for a whole lot longer. You and your wife are pretty old. I mean, we're really old. But you're going to be a daddy. You get to be a dad. I know that you've been wanting kids all of this time. And I've always said no. Well, now I'm saying yes. Now you're going to be a daddy. Mary, I know you have a wedding that you're planning for. I know the invitations are sent out and all that stuff. I know you're planning for a wedding. And I know you have a reputation that you're very proud of. But you're pregnant and you're going to have to deal with that now. He doesn't ask anybody if it's okay. He just comes in and does it. He never says, is it okay if I put you in this situation? He doesn't ask once. He just puts him in that situation. He just came in and he messed up everybody's plans. Turn the pages into the New Testament, and this is the first thing you see God doing. He's messing up everything. He's messing up everybody's plans. But then he put every one of them together to confirm what God was doing with every single one of them. God comes to Zacharias and Elizabeth. Hey, you're going to have a baby. No way. Yes way. You're going to have a baby. Mary, you're going to have a baby. There's no way. Yes way. I want to go ahead and take these two stories and I want to plug them together so you can see that God's doing something with all of you. I'm going to use what God's doing in this person's life to be evidence that God can do something in your life also. And you're all going to confirm it together that God's on the move and that God's doing something. Something big is going down. And I'm going to use every single one of you to confirm what God's doing. Elizabeth's story was used to confirm Mary's story. Elizabeth's baby was used to declare Mary's baby. All of this is working out together. And the story didn't end there. Look at what John the Baptist does as an adult. He's a young adult here. Look at what he does in John chapter 1:29. John saw Jesus coming towards him and said, "Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." John's still yelling, "Hey, that's him! That's him!" This is John's story. Hey, everybody turn away from your sins. That's him. That's him. That's him. That's him. His whole life, that's him. That this baby is created to declare that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. That's him. Everybody, I want you to know, you don't have to look anymore. He's right there. That's him. Every story that's woven together ends up introducing us to Jesus Christ here. Every single one. Tied together to introduce us to Jesus Christ. God came in and he messed up a lot of people's plans in order to do this. Mary's parents now have a daughter who's pregnant outside of wedlock. Have you ever thought of Mary's parents? You were at your cousin's house for 3 months. Yes. And you're coming back now. Yeah. Oh, and God did this? Yeah. Yeah. Now, even if they believe she's still a virgin, that's going to be a real hard sell. She's about to have a baby. Oh, yeah? Who's the father? It's God. She's still a virgin, by the way. This isn't going to be an easy sell. There's a lot of plans that have been disrupted here. God got in there and just scrambled everything up. Joseph's family is going to have to find a way to embrace the kind of ridicule that might come upon Joseph. You got to get rid of her. Yeah, I was going to do that, but God told me it was actually God doing all this, so I'm going to marry her instead. But I'm going to wait till after she has the baby so everybody knows that's him. So yeah, Joseph's going to get a lot of ridicule, and his parents are going to have to find a way to deal with that. Zacharias and Elizabeth wanted to be young when they had children. And now they're only going to go experience their son's life at the end of their life. That's all they have left. Why couldn't we have had them when we were younger? That was our plan. Now we have to experience his life at the end of our lives. God's actions are not fitting very well with anybody's plans here. God shut a lot of doors to bring everyone around to meeting the door. The door. Look at how Jesus introduces himself in John chapter 10 and verse 9. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved. Every door, every plan that God messed up was used to reveal a plan to save them. I'm going to start slamming doors left and right. Yeah, but my plans, I'm going to shut those. I'm going to shut down your plans. I'm going to slam a bunch of doors here. I'm going to mess up every plan that you've got going on right now because I want you to see my plan. I want you to see that I love you and I want to save you. So I'm going to mess up your plans. I'm going to start shutting your doors so you can meet the door who is here to show you his plan. Not one of us would say, not one of us in this auditorium, not one person listening online would ever say, God, I really think you shouldn't have done what you did in the Christmas story. Not one of us would say that. No, every single one of us are thankful to God for what he did in their lives because it brought Jesus to our life. We're thankful that that story went down like it did because it brought us to Jesus Christ. We're so thankful that God messed up their plans. Every one of us are thank God he closed their doors. Thank God he messed up their plans. I want to make it personal here. Has God messed up your plans? Every one of us have hopes and dreams. We're all going to live in some big house, and we're going to have the coolest car on the market, and we're going to meet that perfect person, and we're going to be lots of money. And we're going to be healthy. And all of us, not one of us are saying, I'd like to be sick and broke. And no, we have different plans. We've got the plans that set up in our favor. Every one of us have plans, things that we would like to see fulfilled in our life. Has God messed up your plans? Has he come in and has he messed things up? Are you at a place in your life that you would have never chosen for yourself? And we all get there. We all get there. Yeah, I would have never done this to myself. I would have never put myself in this situation. No, this doesn't really fit with my plans. If we were to put ourselves in the shoes of Mary and Joseph, Zacharias and Elizabeth, I don't believe our initial reaction would be, that would be perfect, God. Yeah, that would be awesome. Just do that. Not one of us would say, yeah, sign me up for that. Not one of us. There were a lot of struggles that came with all of this news. Hey, does this fit with your plans? Absolutely not. Are you willing to do it? Absolutely. But it's going to mess up my plans. Bad. Not just a little bit. Pregnant virgin. Yeah, that's going to mess things up pretty big. Yep. The wedding is not going to be what the wedding was supposed to be. Yeah, it's going to mess up my plans pretty big. Are you okay to do it? And Mary says, yeah, as you said. Yeah, let's just go with your plan. What about yours? It doesn't really matter at this point. Already pregnant. Let's move forward. And whatever repercussions come, let's go with your plan. There were scenarios that probably sounded much better to them than what God had in mind. They probably had different plans. But God was able to open a door that pointed everyone to Christ because of the fact that these people were willing to allow him to shut the door on their plans. Do we see the significance behind this action right here? God was able to open a door to reveal Christ to the world because these people were allowing God to shut the door on their plans. Did you have a different plan? Yes. But go ahead and shut it, crumble it, crush my dreams, do all that so you can open that door. Jesus Christ. Open that to the world. I'll just ride out whatever's going to happen. But go ahead and shut the door on my plans. Every one of them remained loyal to God. Every single one of them remained loyal to God even when their dreams were crushed. And God turned their messed up plans into the greatest plan of all time. And we're so thankful for the whole Christmas story. God changed their plans into the greatest plan, the greatest story ever told. He brought Jesus out of the debris of their ruined plans. I'm going to crumble everything. Now watch as the debris starts moving. Because guess what's coming? And a little baby saying, "That's him! That's him!" Everything's pointing to the introduction of Jesus Christ through all of the crumbled, crushed dreams. Am I okay to mess up your plans? Yeah, go ahead and mess them up. Because outside of those broken dreams, crushed plans, shut doors, I'm going to show you the door that anybody who enters in will be saved. I want to introduce you to the door. So why did God pick these 4 people to do this with? Why? They're just people. Some of them are old, some of them are young. 2 opposite ends of the spectrum here. Why is God using these 4 people to do this with? Look at 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. For years, Israel was waiting for their Messiah. And God had been silent for so long, and it seemed like it was just never going to happen. We're waiting, God, when's the Messiah supposed to be here? But God found 4 people who were loyal to him. Hey, look at those 4. He found 4 people who were loyal to him. He found 4 people who would be willing to let God break their dreams, shut their doors, to introduce Jesus to the world. He found 4 people. All 4 of them had plans in their life. All 4 of them did. They all had things they wanted and things they didn't want. Just like anybody else. Just like us. God shut so many doors in order to direct them to the one true door. And you got this baby over here screaming. That's him. That's the door. Hear all the doors slamming? Yeah, there's one that's opening. Check that out. It's starting to open right there. That's him. That's him. That's him. That's him. Everything is pointing to Jesus Christ in this story. This is not a Christmas message. I want to just point that again. This is not a Christmas message. But the message that God has laid on my heart is so powerfully displayed in the Christmas text. That's why I wanted to use this text today. The word M-A-S, mas, means more. That's what the word means, more. So when we see the word Christmas, we should understand that it means more of Christ. That's what Christmas means. It means more of Christ. Every closed door that we see in this story was used to bring more magnification to Christ. Let's highlight Jesus here. Every dream that was crushed, every undesirable situation that these people found themselves in, was all used to yell out, "That's him. That's him." Let God close the doors. That's all right. Let God close the doors. It's okay that I'm in a place that I would have never wanted to put myself in. It's okay that my plans are being shut. The doors are being shut on all my plans. But please, 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 let the slamming of my doors open a door to Christmas. Let it reveal more of Christ. That was the heart of all 4 of these people. I'm going to mess up your plans. I'm going to shut every single door that you're trying to open. Okay, but when you do, can you hit it hard enough that that one opens? Can you slam my door hard enough that it knocks that one open so everybody can see Jesus Christ because of my slamming doors? Would that be okay? Perfect. But I'm going to crush every plan you had. Virgin, you're pregnant. Grandpa, your daddy. Like, do what? That's all right. Just slam the doors. Slam the doors. As long as it jars that one open. Make that one open. This message rings through the entire New Testament. That message carries all the way through the New Testament. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our tribulations, that we may be able to comfort those who are in trouble, with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. For as the suffering of Christ abounded in us, so our consolation also abounds through Christ. Paul was suffering with many trials. He has been emotionally and physically beaten down here. He is suffering tribulation. He is suffering trials, physically beaten down, left for dead. And in this reminder of all the sufferings, he determines to use it as a door to magnify Christ. All the plans that I had, stoning and left for dead, I didn't have that on my bucket list. Didn't have beaten and having the flesh torn off my back. Yeah, wasn't buying a ticket. I didn't want that. But in spite of all the suffering that I'm going through, let it be used as a door that magnifies Christ. The doors on my life are slamming shut. My plans are being broken. My dreams are shattered. But please let those shattered dreams and closed doors point to the true door, and let it magnify Jesus Christ. Elizabeth gave birth to John the Baptist, who never stopped yelling out the message that Jesus was the Savior. He never quit. Even as John was in prison and ready to be executed, he used his last days to confirm that Jesus was the Messiah. That baby, who is no longer an infant, he is a full-grown man, he's still yelling out, "That's him. That's him." You know they're about to cut off your head? Yes. Now let me make sure everybody knows that's him. Are you the one we're looking for? Are you the Christ? Are you the Messiah? Yeah. The lame are walking. The blind can see. The deaf hear. Yeah, all the prophecies are being fulfilled in me, John. So let everybody know as you get separated from your head, one message. I'm him. I'm the door. John lives his whole life crying out, "That's him." A lot of yelling going on in this story. We just don't normally picture that. But there's a lot of yelling going on here. And it's this little guy saying, "That's him, that's him, that's him." That's Jesus. That's the Savior of the world. That's what every aspect of your life, every plan that you have should be running straight towards. Jesus Christ, magnifying Jesus Christ. If we were to ask Elizabeth or Mary about their ruined plans and closed doors, I believe both of them would have pointed to their sons. Elizabeth, who's your baby? Who is this? Who is this son of yours? Well, he's the one that Isaiah prophesied about. He's the one that Isaiah prophesied would be the forerunner of the Messiah. He's going to be the voice in the desert yelling, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord." That's him. That my kid was going to be the one yelling about the Messiah. Mary, who's your baby? He's the one the yelling's all about. That's what this story is. That's what's going on. Ruined plans, slam doors. All pointing to him. All pointing to Jesus Christ. Every closed door that they faced was another chance to advertise Christ. Even John the Baptist had his plans changed and his head was cut off. Paul, the apostle, had the same thing happen to him. Look at what Paul says in 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, that's light affliction? Yeah, that's the light stuff. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. You're about to have your head cut off. Wow, another light affliction. It's kind of a doozy, Paul. It's temporary. I'm not looking at the things I can see. I'm looking at the things we don't see. The things I can't see are temporary. The things that we don't see physically, those are eternal. So when my head is separated from my body, I want you to hear one last message from me. It's all about Him. It's all about Him. All of these people allowed their closed doors and their ruined plans to be used as a key to open a door to Christmas. More of Christ. More of Christ. When we see Christmas message in March, it seems to be a little out of season, doesn't it? I mean, at least at the beginning of the message, you're like, yeah, that guy's not right. That Christmas message in March. It almost seems to be a little out of season. And I don't know who needed to hear this message today. Maybe you're here, maybe you're listening to it online. I don't know. But I promise whoever needed to hear it, it's not out of season. It's right on time. It's right on time. Well, Merry Christmas. More of Christ. More of Christ. Maybe your plans have fallen through. Maybe you're in a place that you would have never dreamed of being in your life. I would have never picked this for myself. Well, can God use your door to point towards His door? Can God close your plans? I didn't want this, God. It's all right, I didn't ask. But I'm looking for a heart that's willing to let me use their closed door to magnify the door. The one who will enter into that door will be saved. Can I use your situation, whether it's a good one or a bad one? Can I use it as a key to point to a door to Christmas? More of Christ. Can I use your life in that way? An important question. There's a lot of people who are afraid out there right now. In this world, there's a lot of people who are afraid. Love is contagious. And fear is contagious. But love conquers all. And it can push fear away. The reason why love works so well is because it calms the mind of anxiety. When you know you're loved, finally you can take a deep breath, and it's just comforting to know that there's love there. Can we use this situation that's going on in our world today to start advertising? You want an epidemic? We're going to give you an epidemic. The virus is the small epidemic. The panic is the big epidemic. Well, let's send a bigger one in. Since we're collecting epidemics anyway, let's throw one bigger one in. The virus is the smaller one, and I'm not trying to downplay what the people that are sick, they have this virus. It's a serious thing. I understand that. I'm not trying to downplay that at all. But what we've done is there's more people suffering with the epidemic of panic than there are with the virus itself. So what we need to do is send in another epidemic. Panic is contagious. Well, check out love. Check out love. Let me reach out to you, and let me reach out to you and take care of each other and love each other and remind each other that God is still in control. Let's use this door that none of us would have picked, and let's slam it shut and knock that one open. Point everybody to Jesus Christ. That's Him, that's Him, that's Him. Use your ruined plans to point to an open door, a door to Christmas, a door to more of Christ. Stand with me this morning. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the trials in our life. Lord, we thank you.